Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. David Orman, and you're listening to another episode of The Wellness Shot for the week of October 13th, 2025. I've had an experience, and this was the second time something similar like this happened. So I have a school, a martial arts school that I absolutely love. And I had an experience where someone wanted something from me that was what I considered very disrespectful. And most of the time, if that had occurred, I probably would have said, "Oh, that's irritating," and then 3 or 4 or 5, 10 seconds later, I'm done. But there were a series of unrelated things, about 4 or 5 of them that had built up. So that was the one that sent me over the threshold. And I can't say it really bothered me, but it bothered me enough to make a video clip over about. And details are not that important, but it felt disrespectful. And I also started, looking at listening to other people that patients that I was treating and people, some of my colleagues and friends, and they were using different terms. They were using different words and ideas and certainly experiences, but they were saying essentially the same thing. So what is it that people are feeling disrespected? Why? What are the reasons? And of course, there are probably 101 of them, but there are certain themes that do go on. Number one is I think one of the causes is the internet. You get to hide behind a computer or a cell phone for that matter. You get to hide behind a computer, you get to hide behind a phone, and you get to tap away on the computer screen without actually interacting with a human being right in front of you. So you would say things that you normally wouldn't say, that you wouldn't have the either the courage to or the audacity to or any of the above. Number two, we're constantly inundated with violence. Not only, and I don't necessarily mean violence as in movies and TV, although that's a contributor, but violence as in protests that are always violent, violent language. When you hear fascists and other words, and then you have experiences like Charlie Kirk being assassinated. Uh, and that builds over time, and regardless of which side of the aisle you're on, that part of it is irrelevant. It's the impersonal disconnection, and the organ that is responsible for that, there are actually three of them. There's liver, heart, and kidney to a degree, but the liver is the star of the show. Liver is one of the organs that's responsible for really raw animalistic emotions, specifically anger, frustration, depression. When that energy goes in one direction, you get one of those. So anger is outward expression, frustration is lack of expression, depression is inward. Same energy, just different direction. When you flip the coin, you get beauty, you get artistic. The ancient masters used to call it the dragon of creativity being released. And again, same energy, different direction. When a person feels as if they can't get that energy released, they don't know how to release it, they may not have found the appropriate outlets or the vehicles for it, it builds and builds and builds and builds. And when that occurs, the liver gets overheated. And when it does, that heat rises. And where does it irritate? It will irritate. Sometimes it'll irritate the lungs. A lot of times it'll irritate the heart. And it has a tendency to weaken the heart as well. So our ability to feel compassion, some of the higher level emotions, compassion, understanding, thoughtfulness, respect, and the ability to put ourselves in someone else's position and say, you know what? Here's what I want to do, but if somebody did that to me, yeah, I don't think I would like that. There has to be a better way. And because the liver gets so congested for a number of reasons, other than the ones I explained, those emotions, also poor food, chemicals, toxins, poisons, we could be here a while. You're starting to get the picture. That heat will have a tendency to neutralize or to weaken, would be a better word, a lot of the favorable emotions that the heart produces. So what can we do about it? unfortunately, there are a bunch of things. There are a couple of herbs. I'm going to mention three of them that will be very, very, very useful. The first one is called chrysanthemum. You may know it as that yellowish golden flower. The Chinese word is called Juhua, J-U. Next word, H-U-A. And it basically soothes and calms the liver. It helps to flush out that excess heat and it clears that heat that is rising. And so you don't have that explosive anger or frustration or irritating of the heart. It cools the emotional tension. It helps to promote calmness. And the end result of that is what I would describe as respectful awareness. In other words, I know that I make 1,001 mistakes. And I'm pretty sure that you do too. And so if I do make a mistake, I'll make amends. But even before I get to that point, let me put myself in your position. Would I want to have that experience? And if the answer, if you don't instantly say, yes, I would, then the answer is most likely probably not. And if so, what's a better way of conveying the message? So in other words, I'm just going to make up a story. I'm opening up a business. I'm doing a lecture or a seminar on the same topic that you teach about in the area. So I'm going to come to you and say, hey, would you like to join me, hear my lecture, or give me some pointers, or perhaps be a guest speaker, be involved with it somehow? And if you don't, here are two tickets, bring your wife along, one of those types of things. That would show such an element of respect, a high level, a kindness that you couldn't help but support that individual. That would occur. Chrysanthemum is one of the herbs that helps to bring about that respectful awareness. There's another one called Schisandra. It always reminds me of a something a magician would say, but it's Schisandra. It's spelled Schisandra. The Chinese word, there are three of them. It's called Wu, W-U, Wei, W-E-I-Z, Z-I, Wu-A-Z. And it's the word Schisandra translates as a five flavored fruit, so it contains all of the major flavors. It helps to unite all of the organs. The key word is unite and stabilize the spirit. So the spirit in this level, this model of medicine is called the Shen, which resides in the heart. It also helps scattered minds return to center. And it brings about a nourishing respect for that inner calmness and inner stillness and self-control. It's a fantastic herb. If you see it in its raw form, it looks like just brown little seeds that birds would eat or something. And the taste is well, you get all five flavors, but it's mainly bland, but the results are fantastic. That's one of my favorite herbs. Last but not least, many people have heard of this one, reishi mushrooms. Reishi, R-E-I-S-H-I. And reishi is it does a bunch of things, but for this particular purpose, it is what's known as a supreme Shen tonic. In other words, it strengthens the spirit. It helps to open the heart. It helps to bring out the peace, the compassion, humility. It is, if you had an herb that could embody respect, you can make a strong case that it would be called reishi mushrooms. And the combination of all three, and yes, they could be taken as a tea, all three of them, would be fantastic. If you were to pick just one, if there is explosiveness in terms of lots of heat or lots of anger, or lots of frustration or something, when you hear a lot of, reishi would be the one. If a person they're all over the place. One minute they're happy, one minute they're depressed, one minute they're hyper manic, another one they're depressed, subdued. Schisandra is the one. And if someone is so unaware of others and dealing with issues of respect and disrespect, reishi is the star of the show. So If I had my druthers, I would require sipping the tea of one of these, if not all three of them, over the next 30 days for every single person in America, if not all over the planet. And I guarantee you that there would be a dramatic shift. And so that is an impossibility. But those of you listening, take one of them. And if you know somebody who's struggling with these types of issues, really encourage them. You can start with a tea. Tea is usually the mildest. The changes occur more subtly and more slowly. But if you want something with some pop, where, you know what? I'm I don't have time to wait. I need to be a better person. I want to be a better person and I'm ready for it because I've been preparing for this. Then you want to take it in a capsule form. So I hope you really enjoyed this. This one, a lot of this information came the head from my head, from my experience, but most of it came from the heart. And I hope you can feel that, and I hope you enjoy that. If you have questions, comments, anything else, let me know. Until then, I will see you next week.